I'm Sophia Ajaxon, and I'm the editor and founder of Afridiziak Theatre News. And today I'm joined by,
Freddie Opoku-Addaie, Artistic Director and Chief Executive of Dance Umbrella, London's international festival that happens every October across London, in person and online to our global audiences.
thank you. So to start, could you please tell us some highlights from this year's Dance Umbrella programme, which kicks off on the 6th of October, and some of the
Yes,
venues?
yes, the highlights. Well, it's like trying to choose your favorite kid. They're all highlights. But yeah, the festival we kick off this year, the 6th of October, as you mentioned, all across London, but we kick off with a double bill,
Mhm.
international artists, and that's really trying to support the not so familiar to the UK dance scene, younger makers who hopefully will be picked up by the venues that we work in partnership with going forward with more longer full length pieces of work.
Mhm.
So we have Su Wen from Taiwan, Girls Notes, which I'm really excited about, and Alexander Fernand with Comme de Samba, which is a really beautiful piece that is playing with some themes that actually are very prominent right now about youth culture, especially in
Yeah.
France. Alex about like the representation and
Mhm.
how that's always not always what it's seen is how it's perceived. And you could also say that about Soup and Wen's piece, Girls' Notes, which really is challenging cultural conformity or not as well. So yeah, we kick off with that. And then we've got One Drop, which is another piece that happens later on at BAC,
Yeah,
um,
Battersea Art Centre.
Art Centre,
Yeah.
one of our venue partners that's working with Sonia Linfers, who's also they're playing with a diasporic kind of investigation, half Cameroonian and half Finnish.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's really One Drop, which is the thematic of the slave trade and African American, that every person bloodline that was of African descent was one drop, so was known, well, is black in that
Yeah.
terminology, but he also is the drop in reggae and in
Mhm.
that kind of genre of music where when the drop kicks in, that one drop, so the bass when that kicks in. So it's really
Yeah.
playing with the lineage of that formation as well, which is really exciting. And that artist actually, Dance Umbrella is a part of a big European dance festivals network, 11 European dance festivals called Big Pulse Dance Alliance, and you can do
Yeah.
more research about it online. And Sonia is one of the artists who's from Finland, who's based in Finland, and is one of the artists we've also co-produced the work as well that's touring all across some of the partners as well. And we're lucky enough to actually also Tramway Take Me Somewhere Festival in Glasgow is also presenting his work in
Wow.
October. Yes, that's really exciting. Another highlight, which I'm really excited about, which happens this Saturday coming up, 7th, in the centre of London,
Mhm.
Somerset House in the courtyard. We have London Battle, which is
Nice.
and curated by Jade Hackett, and is
Oh
exactly
yeah.
what it is. The four corners of London coming together. There's a captain from each area,
Yeah.
essentially, who's from London, because I think it's a very global city, and you will see that in the mix of the artists that are celebrating battling culture in the hip hop culture as well, which in this year happens to also be the 50th anniversary. And it's been great to
Oh
partner up
yeah.
with some house and his project as well. So yeah, there's a lot I can go on about. We also have a wonderful work with Bird Gang,
Oh yeah.
working with Bird Gang, one of the, I would say, prominent curators of or creators of hip hop dance and how
Yeah.
it's transforming and using technology. And they're doing this brilliant piece with an intergenerational company, intergenerational group, which is playing with the idea of technology and how generations relate to one another via technology or without.
Hmm.
That's family dysfunction, which will happen at Stanley Arts in Croydon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. So how do you decide what goes in and what doesn't?
I mean, it's hard to decide what doesn't.
Yeah, because
The
there's
what
a lot.
doesn't
There's It's a busy program you've got going on there. So yeah, it must be hard to say no.
budget usually decides.
Fair enough.
Let's be honest. I mean, there's some really exciting artists that London is not necessarily familiar with, international
Mm,
as well as UK artists. So he's always, I think, as a festival from its inception, because
yeah.
the festival is in its 45th year this year, of bringing international dance to our wonderful global city. And I think it's not necessarily the decision not to. It's
Hmm.
how we can create space for a conversation to happen around those artists. And even now, we're not just in person; we're also on a digital platform. So some of the artists that are not presented live this year also have a digital work, and some artists actually that also presented live also have a digital work. So it's really trying to reach different types of audience because it's not one stroke for all as well, and it's
Yeah,
also really trying to create a space where there is diverse in diversity of conversations around work. There's not just one in, one out.
yeah,
That's also really trying to understand that, especially in my tenure as well, to really try and really open that envelope of what is the wider context that is not just this work is by this person, so this represents all of them. No, it doesn't.
hmm,
I think those subtleties and the nuances is really important, which sometimes help to decide that we're not going to have this year because it's not really given the breadth of what this theme is about in the festival. I don't know
So,
if that helps.
so in terms of the online program, what is the content for that?
The content, well, we have some brilliant films by some artists, internationally renowned artists, Vincenzo Lamagna and Danilo Moreno, wonderful composer, actually, who's been um, creating work for other choreographic voices. And now he's made a film, Kingdom, which was made actually a couple of years ago. And some of these works actually, because there's a lot of access to digital content nowadays, sometimes you might miss these works. So Kingdom is a work that I made before the pandemic, which is
Okay.
coming back to the festival. And then we also have a work by Trajo Harrell, a really renowned international choreographer now, who talks about his work, Dancer of the Year, because he received an award as a Dancer of the Year. And from someone who's coming from a background that's not necessarily in a conventional Western training formations or
Mm,
institutions. You feel like, and so for an institution to also give this award is like, oh, that's a bit weird at the same time to kind of seen as a dancer of the year by
yeah.
institutions that don't necessarily recognizing that. And his work crosses across Buto, ballroom, and what's it, the ballroom scene as well. So it really plays with a lot of genres. So he's just really interrogating his practice, and he specifically speaks to this a few sections of this piece, Dancer of the Year, which is really so eloquent. To hear about the process of the work and actually sections of the work as well. And then we have online workshops and panels.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of. I think there's something for everyone across the board.
I think it's really good that you're making it accessible. So obviously when you think of dance, you think of going to physically go and watch a show. So it's nice that you're appealing to wider audiences. So personally, as artistic director, what have you brought to the program?
It's a good question. What have I brought to the program? The vision from Day Dot was to really try and widen the center, and
Yeah.
that's me really. It's a bit of a what does it mean by widen the center? For me, there's always been artists who've been in a conversation, but not necessarily in a conversation of what is known as contemporary. And for me, it's really important for us to understand that contemporary, if we're really looking at the word, especially in contemporary dance, it's been looked at as a specific area of work for a specific type of makers. Contemporary for me is what's in the now, and is
Yeah.
to also widen that canon. So the languages and the movement aesthetics that we see in a Western contemporary dance, but is not interrogated about its lineage, its roots, where it's coming from. I think it's really
Hmm.
important to have that in the mix of the works that we're seeing. So it's really trying to widen the Western canon
Yeah.
because actually there's a lot of languages that's outside of the Western canon that's been
Mm.
only seen in the Western canon. So that's really important. And also the sense of who's emerging, who are the established artists. Some artists have been making work for a long time, but they've not necessarily been in the spaces that identified with presenting or programming work across our global city. And that's really the kind of next phase of that, and to really support those artists. And also in the space that we're in as a UK, as an island, is
Yeah.
also the point where we're getting very much as an island. And it's also important for us to present UK artists facing internationally as well. Because as a Londoner, born and raised, quintessentially, what does London or what does an international global city look like? It
Yeah.
looks like all of us,
Yeah.
in our complexity. So I think it's to really represent that and actually to not just do the three T's. I think when I first started my role, we talked about this, like the three T's is not just about the tick box tokenistic and being tolerated. Actually, there's diverse,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not free T the band. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for clarifying that.
Just want to make sure that, yeah. So it's really to interrogate that a bit more and the nuances, the subtleties and complexities to all our being. So that's really important to see that in the movement languages and the work that's being presented on London stage and online.
Thank you. And let's get into the ethos of Dance Umbrella. And what did you have to start to grapple with when you first became artistic director?
Oops, sorry, I lost a bit of reception there. Can you just repeat that one again? Sorry.
In terms of the ethos of Dance Umbrella, what did you have to grapple with and become a part of, basically?
It might be a bit biased, but I've known the festival because I was also,
Mm,
I mean, I was a dancer choreographer, and I also previously presented my work in a festival, and I was also a guest programmer. I think Dance Umbrella as a festival over the 45 years has really been that word is probably overused, but has really been a trailblazer
yeah.
in art, like movement languages that we're seeing that's very is taken for granted in London or in a global scene. Like Dance Umbrella has really helped to support that and give that a platform for that
Mm-hmm.
to be seen. So I think understanding that and then knowing that we are not necessarily starting new, that we need to push on
Mm,
even with those work is that excites me. It's a lot of hard work because we're
mm-hmm.
not just trying to go, here's another tick box thing we need to do to try and get through the system. Is really trying to go, we are interrogating it. We presented the Bilty Jones, we presented the Akram Khans, we presented the Anna Teresa de Kesmeka, we presented the up and coming Una Doherty's who are going to establish venues as well. So what is the under what is the undercurrent, that's really helping these artists, the next generation, to be part of the global conversation? And that's we need to all dig deeper. And I think that's what
Mm-hmm.
Dance Umbrella platform has created for London venues. When we're having a conversation with our venues, it's not about taking a risk on an artist, as the work we've been doing within our organization. It is an adventurous partnership. We're really trying to bring another viewing of what this global city represents. And I think that's really important because we are, as you can see, well, Global Cities Festival.
Thank you. And so, as you know, this is part of our series of interviews with artistic directors. How did you make the transition from choreographer to artistic director?
Yes,
A
I'm going to go.
mindset or physically?
Sorry.
In terms of your mindset.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Mindset. Good. Oh, you did that. That was good because I usually have that a lot when people go, "Oh, what's it?" I mean, I've had it from a few friends who I hold dearly as well. Like, "Oh, you're one of them now," or "You've trans." I'm like, is
Are
not a
you still
transition.
you?
Yeah. I mean, it's not even like suddenly you got a what's it number one song, like I don't know, like a one hit wonder. I think it's just an evolution. I mean, I've always been interested in putting things together. And actually, in all
Mm,
honesty, when I was making work, I needed to find space where my work could sit without me necessarily being seen, oh, this is a work by Freddie. He
okay.
makes this type of work. So, and I really want artists to feel that their work belong because of the interrogation and investigation they're doing. And I think that's how I kind of see this, my tenure, whatever it might be, to really support that. And it's not a transition. I mean, there
Mm,
might be another choreographer that might be interested in putting me as a performer in their piece. Right now, there is an inspirational idea in my head to make a work, but one
okay.
might come. But for me, I would love to be in a position after my tenure with Dance Umbrella that I can walk into venues and platform and spaces to go, oh yes, I could see my work belonging in any one of these spaces, not,
Yeah.
oh, this type of work should go to this type of spaces. And I know for a fact I've been seen in those spaces or have been identified that if you look like a certain way, you should make this
Mm-hmm.
type of work and be only seen in a certain type of spaces. And that's something I'm really grappling with. And I've grappled with as a performer, as a choreographer, as a teacher.
Mm.
So those things does not phase me. But the only thing is just trying to work out how the budget lines navigate these spaces now.
So, do you not miss the performing side?
I miss the physical discipline. And that's
Okay.
something that is also useful for every performer,
Mm,
choreographer, anyone who's in wanting to be in his position, not transitioning. It's an evolution of your practice. I think
okay.
choreographers are also curators. We curate who we want to be in our spaces to work with us towards a vision. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that's I've always had that thing as well. But I don't miss it in that way where I'm gagging, I need to do a plie or I need to go and do a Fresno or I need to go and do a capoeira move or something. It's not that, but I do miss some kind of physical discipline, which is something like the conditioning, because I think it also helps. I mean, it helps the mind. It
Yeah.
feels sometimes indulgent. to have a physical practice, but as you get older, actually, you tend to find, oh, what's my well-being? What things am I doing to help me? And I think dance does give that freedom. Yeah.
So what do you enjoy about being an artistic director? Do you like being the boss?
Um, Not sure about being the. I just love seeing artists kind of getting the platform, and actually, I enjoy that sensation of artists putting a work on stage and then seeing the reaction and going, "Oh, I was not going absolutely cuckoo in my head, thinking this artist's works needs to be seen by more audiences." That little subtle thing that's just me is not is always great about auditorium being full and full of many people from
Yeah.
all over. So I think
Yeah.
that's really important as well. That's what I really I like to look in a room whenever a show's about to go up and go, who's in the room? And I've seen a lot of performances. I keep on saying
Mm,
Stevens is not quite safe because I used to see a lot of shows just wanting to see work. And whenever I start to read the room and go, I know what's in the room, I start to get a bit like, oh, what is it that we haven't done to introduce
yeah.
other
Yeah.
types of voices and voice or energies into the room? And I think that's really important. That excites me. That's what I mean. I think that will always keep us going as well, especially with the cost of living as well. How do you make things possible for everyone to be able to attend? And that's something we've done with London Battle this year. Wonderful event in partnership with Somerset House, but it's
Yeah.
also free. So everyone has access. I mean, it's not
That's
cheap.
yeah, there's no excuse. And it's going to be nice this weekend as well, so that's good.
Fingers crossed, please. You didn't say that out loud. Fingers crossed.
I'm talking to the universe. It's going to be fine. It's going to be sunny,
I was
24 degrees.
I was saying to one of my colleagues actually earlier, and I was like, don't do a Michael Fish on us. I was like, don't predict the weather. I mean, you know what? I'm all up for the weather doing exactly what it says, but sometimes it does do a little switcheroo on us. You know?
I'm going to remain hopeful. So apart from the financial challenges, which is what I keep hearing, is there any other challenges
Challenges.
in being an
Um,
artistic director apart from the financial side?
challenges. I think, I mean, it's just like being, I think all the things about being a performer and a maker as well, there's certain doubts about should this go ahead? How is this going to go ahead? But I think what's also nice about this challenge, because challenging can also be pleasurable, but not in a kind of a masochistic way, but is a more of a, you have a team around you, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, being a freelance independent artist for over 20 years, also being able to be honest, have a wage every month and knowing
Yeah.
I don't think is I mean that I understand having been an independent and going, where's the next one coming from? Where are we going?
Mm,
I think the challenge is also for myself to be realistic and not over promise because I
mm-hmm.
also don't want to do that because I don't want to be in that position where you're speaking to an artistic director. Yeah, we can make this happen. We always want to make everything happen, but we know that the times we're in is really challenging for
Mm-hmm.
organizations to try and yeah, to it's hard to it's hard not to overpromise, and it's just really trying to be grounded in a way to say, you know, we're trying to support you. Just because your work is not being presented in the festival does not mean we're necessarily not interested in your work being seen by audiences or international audiences as well. So how do we find ways through different types of pipeline? Because we have an all year round creative learning program as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that people don't know about that. People just think we just wake up in October and go, ta-da! You know, but we have a wonderful team. Yeah, creative learning team as well, which happens across and actually develops the relationships that's now creating supporting London Borough of Culture Croydon. We've been
Mm-hmm.
working there before the pandemic.
Okay. Okay.
Also, these little things. So those are the challenges that sometimes you don't just want the festival in October to be talked about. It's about all the other things that you're the implicit things like the
Right.
do you know the swan like underneath is going
Yeah. Yeah.
like you know the work. I mean those are things that sometimes I like. You know the little peddling. People also do need to see that because I think it's also about the creative process, the kind of the ickiness of it. How's this going to work? Are we going to go across the line? I think all those things. I mean, I think it's just exciting. It's just trying to have the physical energy to keep up with it.
Are you getting enough sleep?
Sorry.
Are you getting enough sleep?
Yes, actually, not. Yeah, it's just more.
That's
But
good.
basically, it's just me trying to like stay fit so I keep up. Not necessarily because I, you know. Yeah.
Okay, so what would you say to a young person, not that you're not young, a younger person who aspires to be an artistic director?
I mean, I keep on using that line. Yeah, I'm just 21,
Hmm.
and my little boy is like, you said that last year. I was like, "Fair enough."
Still 20. I'm still 21.
Yeah, still 20. All
Still.
right, I'll go for 22 now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, find space and people that really support you, and from all backgrounds. And I think that's something also to understand. Yeah, whether they look like you or not look like you, there are some people who really support you in a way where they can see you and where
Mm,
you're going. I think that's really important to kind of not to take those people for not no, not that we take it for granted, but to really, yeah, just show your appreciation. I think that's something I'm really appreciate that there's certain things that has happened. I kind of go, oh yeah, that was never meant to lead me into that way. But now
okay.
going back, yeah, that was part of the plan. I don't know what the powers that be, but it was part of the plan. And yeah, to stay curious, it's
Hmm.
really important to stay curious. And I would say, I mean, it's not, I would say I am not the most talented person in the room, but damn, I was in the room.
Yeah, that's important.
You know, yeah, I'll blag my way into the room just to be
And
there.
now I'm
Not
here.
blag my way like, yeah, I haven't got a ticket, but let me in. But just to be present and to really say, just to show that you also have a value and what you stand for.
Mm,
I mean, as a London-born of Ghanaian heritage, I know that there's certain space. Well, the space is for everyone. You know,
hmm.
we can have a lawyer that looks like me. You can have all the multiplicity of things as well. So don't feel you don't belong in that space. You do. You have to do your work, but you do belong in that room as well. Yeah.
Okay. And who, in terms of fellow artistic directors, who have you looked up to?
Ooh. Um. God. I mean, all of them, because I mean, I mean, I'm known. Hopefully, I'm known for just being very easy to talk to with other ADs, and I'm always observing. I would say directly and connected to Dance Umbrella.
Hmm.
Emma Gladstone has really, who was the previous artistic director and CEO of
Okay.
Dance Umbrella, has really
Yeah.
supported my development because I was a guest programmer of the festival from 2016 to 2019, and I
Oh,
think
I
that really
see.
gave me an insight into what the festival is. It was just one little part of it though I'm curating, but definitely gave a whole, yeah, it gave that confidence for me to be able to think maybe I could apply for this job and see how it
Oh,
goes. I'm not
brilliant. Yeah.
yeah, so that's been really helpful. But I mean, that's a name that I'm naming, but there's mentors that I've had since I was in New M6 from college,
Okay.
uh Newvic in Plaistow, where I literally live just around the corner of, to training at London Contemporary Dance School, to apprenticeship with now company Way McGregor, touring with Kanduka
Okay.
Dance Company, different artists that I've worked with, peers who are based in Spain internationally as well. So it's just there are lots of people that have, even the not so pleasant experiences have definitely given me something that just makes me a little bit more it sharpen my tools. So I
Hmm.
think yeah, there isn't a specific one, but if it's literally about leadership, I mean there are mentors that I've had, Hilary Carty from way back and One Dance UK who've been really supportive. And
Okay.
actually, our opportunities in this space as well. Also, there does need to be some kind of affirmative action sometimes because I was part of One Dance UK's Trailblazer, as a
Right.
word again, cohort. And I had Hilary Carty actually, who was my mentor.
Hmm.
We had a really good chat. She's like, "Yeah, Freddie, just go do it," in a way where it was like, "Yeah, just I procrastinate a lot." So I think
Right.
it's just really
Okay.
important that you have people around you as well to kind of go, "All right, just all the things are in place. You just need to push forward with it." Um, Fabio de Santos, family, friends. It's just, I mean, there are lots, and I'm missing people out, but it's just
It's
it takes a village, eh?
it sounds like you've got a great support network, um, which is lovely. And finally, if for someone who's never been to Dance Umbrella Festival before, why should they? Why should they come?
You are definitely at the beginning of something really exciting
Hmm.
that others will only catch up with. And I think that's what Dance Umbrella has done for the UK dance scene internationally as well, in its 45 years as well. So you're not um you're not behind. You are in the conversation of what dance and its choreographic practice is moving or is or has or will move towards. And I think it's really
Mm.
exciting that also you get to engage with that across the wonderful global city that it is London, as well as online. And it's also
Mhm.
something really special that I'm aware of that consciously, that is not just about going to the sites of London, but you also get to see parts of London that you don't normally
Yeah,
engage, which is
yeah.
really important. I mean, we are literally like with our children's work, um, which is Skydiver this year, is being presented in 5 venues, which I'm going to try and get it just to give you a sense of how you travel through London. We're going to the Unicorn, we're going to the
Okay.
Place, we're going to Stanley Arts, we're going to Studio 3 in Barking and Dagenham, and we're going to Waterman's. I think that's all 5. I've not missed anyone out because that'd be awkward. But yeah,
Very.
that's how much. So we're literally around all 4 corners of London, as
Yeah.
well as work to venues like Sadler's, with Via Catalong, South African-based dance company. So I think everyone should find themselves in this space as well. I mean, we've got coincidentally, we have 2 Greek artists in the festival this year. One of them is based in, actually another who's based in the UK, who's taken part in a more industry facing studio sharing platform. So
Hmm.
yeah, it is. I mean, I really do believe that this festival does represent a global city
Hmm.
in all its complexities, and it's, for me, that excites me. And is not, we don't need to, I don't need to justify it or make a point for it, because that's the world we live in. The world is smaller.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your time today, and I look forward to coming to the festival.
See you from the 6th to the 31st in person and online, danceumbrella.co.uk.
Excellent. Take
We
care.
didn't rehearse that.
No, we didn't. See you later.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.